In this world of technology, things are ever changing, rearranging. You need someone to help you out. I know someone who can.
Come and take a journey with me as we go through the land of technology. You'll never be alone. You'll be with Paul Amadeus Lane in the tech zone. Welcome to the tech zone. We on our tech flow, and it's still a global market in case you didn't know. So many guests, we not trying to impress. Just wanna pass off the info. You can do the rest. See, there's no escaping tech. It's part of our lives. Keep every individual connected worldwide. But all this innovation is more than entertainment. It's people like you paving a new way every day. So let your imagination run wild with all the things that you dream about. Cause the tech zone is on now with Paul Amadeus Lane. Blah. Come and take a journey with me as we go through the land of technology. You'll never be alone. You'll be with Paul Amadeus Lane in the tech zone.
Take a little journey with me as you go through the land of technology. You'll never be alone. Say it with me, guys. You'll be with who? In the tech zone. Welcome to this edition of the show. I'm so happy to have you with me on the show. We're going to talk about two amazing subjects. One that helped me out from making a huge mistake, and another, contest results are in from the Consumer Technology Foundation contest. Remember, we had the executive director on to talk about the contest and how they're looking for startup companies out there that have assistive and adaptive technologies for the senior and aged population and the disabled community out there. Well, the winners have been announced, and coming up in the second segment of the show, we're going to talk about the winner chicken dinner. Remember, you can always connect with me, paulamadeouslane.com. That's how you can connect with me on social media. You can get at me, you can tweet me, you can follow along, and all that other good stuff. Well, we have great guests on today, so I'm going to start with a story. There's no, I guess, mystery that I'm cheap. That I'm always looking for the hookup, always looking for the deal. Well, back in February, I wanted to get a MacBook Pro because I do a lot of editing when I'm on the road. You know, I just want to use that so my Windows laptop I can leave in my home studio and not take it out when I leave. So I looked online, did some research, and I found a great deal on a MacBook Pro 17-inch for about $850. So I jumped on it. So everything was working fine with it. I thought I got a deal. But what happened over some time was it would get caught in a repetitive startup. So I had a friend of mine, Phil Banks. Phil's a computer guru out there. Phil looked at it one time and he told me what the problem was, and he was able to fix it. So everything was great. But then a couple of months later, it started to do it again. So I was like, this is crazy. So Phil did some research for me and found out that this particular MacBook, 2011 17-inch, had problems with the dual video card. So it would get overheat and it would get stuck. So come to find out that it was discontinued by Apple, and they stopped selling it. So I reached out to the person online. I bought it on eBay. Reached out to him and said, hey, you know, I'm having problems with this, and this is the problem. He's like, oh, yeah, that's true. The 2011s have that problem. I'm thinking, well, why in the world did you sell it to me? So I reached out to the Superman of refurbished MacBooks and my MacBook aficionado, Larry O'Connor from OWC, Otherworld Computers. Well, you know, Larry and I have known each other for years. Larry has been on the show many times, so I reached out to him, and he knew exactly what the problem was. So he took my MacBook over at OWC Otherworld Computing, Took my MacBook, fixing it. It's going to be great. And I said, Larry, I got to have you on because I want to do a public service announcement for my followers, the audience out there, what to be aware of when they buy refurbished things. And Larry agreed to come on and to give us a public service announcement. And please listen intently to what he is saying. He knows a lot about this area, and I'm so happy he decided to join me. So without any further delay, let's bring my good friend on, Larry O'Connor. And joining me right now, I'm so happy to have him on, a guy that I've known for many years in the tech world, OWC's CEO himself, Larry O'Connor. Larry, how you doing, my friend?
Doing great, Paul. Doing great. I'll never forget I first meet you.
Yeah.
You and your partner trying to break my iPhone with our case on it.
Yeah, remember that, man? That was wow. Yeah, that was a long time ago, my friend. And just think about it, Larry. In a few months, CES, man. So time flies, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. 2020 already.
Yeah, and you got a very busy calendar coming up. You got CES, then you got the NAMM show. I mean, you guys are everywhere, man. Do you ever get some rest?
Try. You know what? Honestly, this keeps you on, keeps you going, keeps it good.
Yes, it does. And Larry, what I did, I told the audience before I brought you on, just a dilemma that I was faced with and how I reached out to you and, to help me out. And after that experience, I really wanted to have you on to kind of give us some wisdom when it comes to buying refurbished computers, especially when it comes to Apple products. And Larry, one of the things that we always look for is a deal. But sometimes when you're looking for a deal, sometimes the devil is in the details. So what are some things that we really need to be aware of when we're buying refurbished things, especially Apple products?
Well, when you say especially Apple products, in fairness to Apple, Apple hardware lasts a really long time. You don't find many, 5-year, 10-year-old PCs out there that are still in great shape and still able to make a difference and be used out there. On the Apple side, though, it's pretty common, to have a laptop from, 2010, 2011, iMacs, you name it, that are still, great systems. They can still run, the current OS or an OS that's very close to current, but you still got to be careful in terms of making sure who's selling to you, has properly serviced it, made sure that it's issue-free. While these machines last a long time, we've been in this business for a long time. We've been specialized in Apple, and we kind of know what, what's going to go wrong if something's going wrong. And certain years have, certain little quirks. Your 2011 in particular, that GPU issue that ultimately kind of got the better of you, that's really common on that machine. And, all the refurb systems that we bring in and put out the door go through extensive testing. They go through load testing as well to bring out those flaws. If there's something that's kind of on the edge, the right testing ensures that we find that issue and either can take care of it or, unfortunately, in some cases, just declare the machine is kind of past its time.
And Larry, you bring up a very good point because the 2011 issue was kind of a well-known issue in the world of Macs because I think they even discontinued the model, if I'm not mistaken.
They discontinued the 17, not because of that, just, Apple, got rid of 17-inch. Honestly, those machines in working condition are really, highly prized. People really like that 17-inch display.
Yeah, it's really nice. And Larry, speaking about the GPU issue that I had, it was interesting, like when I bought it, you would expect that the person who I bought it from would, since they are the expert that I'm buying it from, would say, hey, they had some issues here. But it was funny. When I brought it up to them, they're like, oh, yeah, they did have some issues. And I'm looking like, why didn't you tell me that when I bought it? So it was kind of strange how the whole thing went down.
Yeah, that's, unfortunate. There's a lot of, you got individuals that, maybe they don't realize, I'm being nice here. Maybe there's not an intention to sell something that's got a problem. Maybe they think it's something that just needs a new OS installed and everything's going to be fine. The other thing you run into, there's plenty of places, they really don't have tech crews. They're just flipping goods. They bring them in, they boot them up, they see that they at least, turn on and, seem to operate, and then they go out the door and they kind of let their customer be the tester. And, maybe they have warranty, maybe they don't. Maybe it's something you're going to find right away, and maybe you find it down the road. When we do a refurb Mac, every port, every function, these things go through the ringer before they go back out the door. We pull memory, we test and we rewipe the drives, even though drives are already supposed to be wiped and such. I mean, it's kind of part of the whole test. We make sure when we ship it out the door, there's not a drive that's got a smart failure. There's not a memory module that's throwing bit errors. There's not a GPU that's going to overheat or just simply be flaky in general. It's important that those kinds of tests are run on, especially some of the older systems. The newer systems, it's kind of more just a walk through the park for those, just a double check. But on the older systems, these are things that eventually can go wrong and need to be serviced. But you buy from a place that is backing it with warranty and has their own tech crew, you can typically buy with confidence.
And that's one thing I like about what you guys are doing over there at OWC. Not only do you have an amazing crew that you work with, but you also make some amazing peripherals. I remember a few years ago, I think when the Thunderbolt 3 came out, and you guys came out with this amazing peripheral. When it comes to creating the peripherals for Macs, it seems like you guys are like traveling in the future to find out what things are going to be good. How do you stay abreast of things, just of knowing what to create when it comes to these different peripherals out there?
We really listen to our customers, and it's not just our customers saying what they think they want. It's understanding their needs, where we have a pretty good track in terms of where technology is going, understanding their needs today and what's coming down the pike tomorrow. Kind of lets us bring out these solutions that nicely milled into that spot where it's going to be the solution that it's great today and it's also future ready for tomorrow. And actually, it goes back to Thunderbolt 2. When it comes to docks, our docks are an area that a few years ago you would have never thought docks would have been important because we had all these ports, and now today things gotten super slim. All those ports have been taken away, and we really, I would say, are in some respects the king of docks. I mean, from USB-C to Thunderbolt 2 to Thunderbolt 3, it's kind of cool. I mean, we're the docks that at this point are supporting those that are putting people in space, putting satellites in orbit, putting rovers on other planets. It's from the home user all the way to supporting space. I mean, we're pretty excited with the kind of project we can put together. And I also go back on the refurb, the U's and the refurb Macintoshes. We got into that in a big way a few years ago, mainly seeing the opportunity, seeing the issues that were out there, but just typically what's gotten us into a business space. Being able to offer a little bit more to our customers and for their own trade ends, and also having the inside track on the parts. I mean, we design, engineer, and manufacture, a lot of the components that are needed to do the servicing. Memory, internal drives, different cable components, different parts you need just to be able to replace the drive in an iMac. Our company is the manufacturer for. I mean, if you want to put a third-party drive, replace the drive in an iMac, you need our iMac thermal kit, or you got to use a piece of software that hacks the OS as opposed to a piece of hardware that interfaces with the Mac that's already there. So we kind of know what we're doing there, and it's been a lot of fun, bringing up another business segment that leverages what we let users do at home.
Yeah, and I tell you, you guys are just amazing what you guys are doing out there when it comes to the refurb game and the peripherals. And I always wanted to ask you this question. I think I might have asked you several years ago. Who was the Sherlock over at Mac to say, hey, let's get rid of some of these ports? I mean, what was the rationale behind that?
Thinner is better, and I guess in fairness, the pain on the customer, there's a lot of folks that don't use, a whole lot of the ports, and they also kind of thought, well, there's going to be docks and things. When you're on the road, you want something super slim. But as far as I don't know who to give credit to for taking the ports off of everything. Certainly taking ports off a pro machine, was an interesting move. And you can argue everything's going to be USB-C or Type-C. Everything is moving towards Type-C. But to do it, 3-4 years ago already, it'll be 4 years next year, and we're still nowhere near everything being Type-C connectable. It was perhaps the cart before the horse. I mean, it's a really slim, great machine until you get to the fact of, well, how do I connect all my stuff to it? How do I connect them on the road? What other dongles and gadgets do I have to unfortunately carry with me? We tried to simplify that with docks to both portable docks and desktop docks. And, one cable kind of connects to everything. But it's I don't know. It's kind of rough, in my opinion, that you've got these great machines that now you have to have something else to connect some of the things you need to connect to them. And Apple pushes the envelope. They're always pushing the envelope. I do appreciate that in terms of kind of maybe getting too far ahead of the game, kind of driving the industry and driving people towards wireless technologies, towards, a new port interface type, a new connector type. But it's such a large installed base out there. In the future, a little more time probably would have been appreciated by a lot of customers.
Yeah, I totally understand, my friend. Totally understand. So, what are some of the great peripherals you guys have been working on? Inquiring Minds want to know.
Sure. We brought out our new travel dock. I mean, this is a device that's around $50. It's got a bunch of USB ports. It gives you video. It does pass-through charging. And I always have to say this when it comes to a dock. There's a lot of so-called docks out there that really aren't docks. And by that, I mean, they call themselves a dock, but they're really a hub. And what differentiates a hub from a dock is the ability to pass power. When it's just a hub, you plug into the port, and you have connectivity, but it's not managed. Not only does it not pass power through it when you plug in an AC power adapter, it also doesn't really regulate and manage the power going to the different devices, which in today's design world, in terms of how the computer, how the OS, everything works together, it can create situations where a device drops off, where the computer takes power away because it doesn't know it's connected or that there's a priority of what's connected. And the other big thing, since you are port limited, I mean, some of these systems like a Chromebook, some of the MacBooks, they have one port. And if you can't, or maybe they have two ports, but all the same, if you have several devices you need to connect, and you also want to be able to charge, with a hub, in a situation where I can have all my devices connected or I can charge. With a dock, you can have all your devices connected and you can charge. So we have our new travel dock out, which is awesome. It's got a recess for the cable. Well, minor improvement, but it's one of our best-selling portable products. Awesome, product, the OWC travel dock. And then we go to another dock, our new Thunderbolt 3 dual drive dock. It's got 7 ports for docking, so it's got USBs, it's got Ethernet, it's got video, it's got a card reader because a lot of the Macs and PCs too don't have a built-in SD reader, or in the case like an iMac or actually any of the desktop machines, the card reader's on the back of the machine, which is really not very convenient. This is a external drive that goes up today to 28 terabytes. So it's got built-in hard drive capacity or SSD up to 20 terabytes of storage and 7 ports. You can get all that connectivity that you need, and it will charge your laptop as well. It's great for desktops, but again, plug a laptop in that needs power. You don't have to have another power cable to it because it'll power right off our external drive. So really excited about that. We got awesome eGPUs for Mac and PC, so you can plug in via just your Thunderbolt 3 port, a fast graphic processing card. We've got big storage, going up to 72 terabytes, soon up to 96. Just goes on and on and on. But really, the products that I think hit the big masses are definitely both the travel dock and that new 2-bay solution, because everybody needs more storage. Everybody needs fast storage that's got redundancy. And having one device that can give you storage, plus that with that same cable, when you plug in the drive, also connect all your devices, your USBs and whatnot. I think that's a big plus. Now, I'll put one last thing out there, because I know I'm talking a lot about this. For all of our products that have dock ports, our travel docks, our Thunderbolt 3 docks, our USB-C dock, our new dual drive dock, we have an application for both Mac and PC called OWC Dock Ejector. And it's really simple. I mean, it's a product that, with a single click, you can eject all of your storage, from your desktop, whether it be a Windows system or a Mac system. And what's important about that, and this goes back to hubs as well, when you're getting ready to leave, you're taking your laptop away, you want to make sure before you shut down that book, a lot of times you're just going to put it to sleep, you don't have to completely power it off. You want to make sure that all your storage has been disconnected before you yank that stuff offline. Otherwise, you can risk your data. And the dock ejector ensures with a single click that your data is safe and sound, everything is properly ejected, those files are closed, there's no issues you have to worry about, as opposed to manually ejecting, and sometimes they don't all eject and you miss something, or quite frankly, software that's not designed for a particular lineup that may sort of work, sort of not work. When you use the OWC dock ejector, it's one click and everything has been ejected. You don't have to worry about the OS. If you're given a hiccup, you don't have to worry about any number of different things. So, I mean, it's not just hardware that matters. When we build this stuff, there's also the software side, that goes along with it. It's just a total package, because it doesn't matter how little or how much you pay for something. If the data's not saved, I mean, that's where it's all at.
You're so true. And I remember when you sent me the Thunderbolt 3 dock, and I started using that whenever we do live broadcast or live streaming. And I tell you, man, it is a godsend. I love it. Whenever we're on location, I use it. And I encourage everyone out there, get these docks. I mean, they're worth their weight in gold. I mean, we see that, like you talked about, computers, MacBooks having less ports, but we have more devices that we need to hook up to these ports. So it's great to see, Larry, when these manufacturers decide to slim down with the ports and everything, that it left an opportunity for you guys at OWC, man, to say, okay, we got you. We'll take care of this. And I got to be pretty gratifying when you guys are able to see a need and fill it out there for ones out there who have these devices, and for ones who are listening and viewing right now who may not understand, again, the need to have this dock. Talk about that one more time, just why we need docks, and just how it's an integral part to our laptop or our MacBooks.
Sure. I mean, unless you're starting from scratch, buying your first computer today, you probably have a lot of devices you've accumulated over the years. And honestly, there's a lot of devices still today that don't necessarily have the same ports that your laptop is now going to have. You only have one port on a lot of systems today. It's the Type-C, but they have, I say one port, one type of port. Maybe there's one, maybe there's two, maybe there's four of them, but they're all Type-Cs. And sort of having a bunch of dongles, you can have a dock that connects you to everything. And I will say there is one nice thing about the new Type-C. It incorporates power delivery. So having a dock, especially at home, means, and I remember this. I used to, I took my laptop back and forth. I'd have to, unplug a whole bunch of things and plug a whole bunch of things back in. One of the one win of not having all those ports and pushing people towards a docking solution for everything else, for Ethernet, for video, for, there's audio in and out on these docks. It's one cable plugs in from your computer to that dock, and now everything you've got at home, all your storage, your displays, your printer, whatever stuff you normally plug directly into the computer is now connected, and it charges your computer as well in the case of a laptop. Now, for a desktop, you're just adding more ports, of course, but for a laptop, one cable and you're reconnected. You can go back and forth to your office and home. Have a dock in both places, same gig, one cable. You're off to the races. So that's kind of nice, and there's less wear and tear. There's fewer failure points at that time. But I have to say, we go through a lot of used Macs. It's pretty rare that we ever see a port failure. I never had one of my ports fail. I was unplugging multiple times a day to go back and forth. So, but nonetheless, it is a convenience. It is kind of nice, and it's a win-win. You get the ports you need, and again, it's one cable, and everything is going.
I love it. I love it, Larry. Always good to have you on to chat about everything Mac, everything that you guys are doing over at OWC. And before I let you go, is there anything else out there you'd like to let the folks know what you guys have out there, and how they can get some of this great peripherals and these great used Macs and all the other good stuff?
Well, I hope everybody comes out to OWC.com or goes to MacSales.com. We have an incredible deal on Beats headphones right now. We got the Solo 2s, which are, that's a wireless. They're normally $300. We've got them for $149 right now, which is just an absolute killer deal. But we get all sorts of cool stuff. I mean, not just OWC. I mean, we sell all sorts of neat things. But on the OWC side, and just in general, when you look at a system, if you've got a computer, Mac or PC, look at how much memory it's got. More memory typically will give you the performance you might be missing, and might be, if you think you need a new computer, make sure you've upgraded the one that you've got. If you have a hard drive in your current computer, if you're not using a solid state drive, absolutely positively replace that hard drive with a solid state drive. I hope it's an OWC SSD. I mean, we've got the best SSDs on the planet. It's the team and the hardware. But if nothing else, I don't care what you do, put an SSD in there, because that's going to be night and day for you, and that's going to keep that stuff going. I mean, sustainability is very important in terms of how we use resources. Everybody's trying to make you buy new stuff. The reality is, a lot of the time what you've already got is a lot better than you think, and you're going to find out with a little, simple upgrade. Again, SSD upgrade is super easy to do. Memory upgrade, even easier. How fast and how much further that computer can really go for you. So it's always about get the max out of everything.
I concur with that. I am a customer and been knowing you for many years, and I can vouch for your work and all the products that you guys have out there. You guys do some pretty amazing things out there, my friend, and keep up the great work. And don't be surprised, folks, when you see Larry at our broadcast booth again at CES. We always have our inaugural chat at CES, man. It's kind of like the rite of passage, right, for us every year to meet up and see each other and go live and talk about some of the great things you guys. And Larry also brings a product by the broadcast bay too. That's pretty cool.
We do have fun, and again, I'll never forget that first shit, because our case was designed to take falls. It had never been tested quite the way, how to say, your buddy there, whacked it on the table. I was glad it worked out. I still had a phone to get my airline ticket off of, but it actually was a great test, and it passed in flying colors. So it's been fun. It was fun then. It's been fun ever since.
Yes, and if you notice, that friend's no longer with me no more because of what he did to your phone. So that's a side story. But it's
what he tried to be very clear. What he tried to
do. Yeah, what he tried to do, because I would have been bad. But no, we're all good. Hey, bro. Great catching up with you. And once you give that website out one more time so folks can go and check out everything.
Sure. OWC.com and MacSales, MACSALES.com is where you're going to find all the great stuff.
Awesome. Larry, great chatting with you, my friend, and look forward to catching up with you real soon, my friend.
Hey, likewise, Paul. Have a good one there.
A huge shout out to my man, Larry O'Connor, CEO of Otherworld Computing, OWC. Love having Larry on and spending some time with him, finding out how we can protect ourselves when we're buying refurbished components out there, but also some of the things that they have done for some of the discontinued things that we no longer have on our laptops. All right, when we get back, we're going to be joined by the CTA Foundation, Consumer Technology Foundation, about their winner chicken dinners of their startup contest. Who's getting a booth at CES 2020? We're going to have that announcement coming up after these messages. Don't go nowhere. We will be right back. And before I let you go, remember, you never know when a disaster is going to strike and we're going to be off the grid and we're going to lose electricity, heating, and just some of the essentials that we use each and every day. Well, my friends over at GoSun, that's GoSun, GOSUN.co. Go visit them online. Check out some of the great things that they have that can help us to reduce our carbon footprint, resilient technology out there. They have some amazing products out there. I know some of my followers and listeners here in California, we've been thinking more seriously about this because of power being shut off. They have smaller refrigeration innovation out there, lights, cooking, you name it. Go to GoSun.co. That's GOSUN.co. And make sure you use the promo code TechZone. That's TECHZON, all one word. And make sure you get your discount out there for just following me and being a friend of the program. We'll take care of you. That's GoSun.co. Use promo code TechZone for your special discount. All right, we'll be back with more show after this.
In this world of technology, things are ever changing, rearranging. You need someone to help you out. I know someone who can. Come and take a journey with me as we go through the land of technology. You'll never be alone. You'll be with Paul Amadeus Lane in the Tech Zone.